At KBLA Talk 1580, climate is king. 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 KBLA Talk 1580 and the Empowerment Congress, pursuing justice through participatory democracy. Listen to KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for an exclusive forum featuring the candidates for LA County District Attorney. Join KBLA's Tavis Smiley as he helps navigate what promises to be a forum full of fire when the candidates trying to unseat current LA DA George Gascon come together on stage on the campus of the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. Again, it's the LA County District Attorney Forum, live, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Helping to raise your civic IQ. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
KBLA Talk 1580. This right now is the perfect time to call me. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on. Whatever's going on in your community, whatever's going on in the world. There is so much to unpack. And of course, some of you tortured yourself by watching the Republican debate last night. If you want to talk about it, call me 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. And that's a number to get in. Chris Christie is out. He's dropped out. That doesn't surprise me one bit because he is, the only guy willing to say, yeah, Trump is what Trump is. I know I usually call him he who shall not be named, but it's getting to be election season and the crazy is getting crazier. So with Christie out, it'll be, as many people have said, a race for second place. And I don't know, now if it's like they're really on a book tour or what they're doing. The the former president really doesn't seem to think it's important. He'd rather be twiddling his thumbs in court, whether he's allowed to speak in court or not. He's just going to go there. He feels apparently that's more important than these debates. And so I'm going to have to agree with him on that. Don't agree with everything or anything mostly that he says. I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch the whole debate. I really don't love watching these folks talk, especially when it seems like pretty futile. What are they going to do? They are not getting to be the president. Maybe Nikki Haley could be the vice president. I don't see DeSantis because his relationship with he who shall not be named has deteriorated so much. Governor, they really went to name calling, which is usually happens a little later in the campaign season, but I guess it is pretty late for those folks on the stage because they don't really stand a chance. And of course, the Iowa caucuses are Monday. They seem to care about it, even if DT does not. DeSantis called Nikki Haley a mealy-mouthed politician. They actually came out swinging. Haley says DeSantis' campaign is falling apart. Those two are now, 1 and 2 in the second tier, I guess you could call it. But the crazy thing is, how do you have a whole conversation, a debate, and just ignore the front runner, just like beat each other up? That's... they were true. They spent some time trying to build themselves up, but really they were just battling each other and not really not really talking about the elefante in the room, one DJT, Donald J. Trump. So meanwhile, Trump is getting, he's having some setbacks in the legal arena, as we shall, track that. I'm sure he will continue to have these setbacks. At least I hope so. But I know he's got so many judges in there appointed by him that including the Supreme Court, that you cannot count on that for sure. So the man who thinks, or at least his attorneys think, that he should be able to have the U.S. military execute his political opponents didn't come up in the presidential debate when he is the front runner. It doesn't make any sense. They're all scared of him. I know why. If they alienate his base, they'll never ever be able to win, because the Republican Party has become the party of white supremacy, hands down. Proud Boys, the Stephen Millers, the cozying up to Duterte. Remember, how much Trump said he admired Duterte, the Filipino leader. Well, think about what Duterte was doing. He was shooting drug dealers on sight, having people having the military and the police just kill people that were quote unquote suspected drug dealers on sight. No trial, no evidence necessary. Just shoot them down. And that's really what Trump's lawyers were arguing in court, that he could have his political opponents often because he's the president. He would be immune from prosecution unless he was impeached and then convicted by Congress, which, if the courts decide that's what's happening, I might really have to think about relocating to, Zanzibar or something. Because that is, to me, the definition of an authoritarian government. I can kill you. I don't need evidence. Because I'm in charge, I'm all powerful. That shouldn't be the American way in any case. Let's go to Deb calling us from, is that Compton, City Compton? Hi, Deb.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you this morning?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm doing well. I honestly believe that Christie, DeSantis, Nikki Haley, deep in the back corners of their minds, they hope that Donald Trump is indicted on something, so that maybe at the last minute, in the 11th hour, they can actually stand a chance of becoming the nomination. I really believe that.
You might be right about that. The only thing about that is that the head of the RNC has said that they will back Trump even if he's convicted. So what does that mean? He's found guilty.
True.
He could serve from jail, and he's not going to be in prison. He'd have an ankle bracelet and be, eating burgers at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, that's what I think. I don't, because you can't really jail Secret Service agents, and he has to have Secret Service protection. I mean, I don't know. You might be right. I was thinking they might be feeling like, even though people talk about how Biden is old, and he is, Trump is also old.
Mm-hmm.
They're only 3 years apart. Trump, drinks 12 Diet Cokes a day and lives on Burger King. So maybe they're hoping he'll, get sick or worse.
Right. I think they're hoping that he actually is convicted of enough of his crimes that maybe reality will kick in with his base, and Nikki Haley is saying all the right things that the base wants to hear.
Yeah.
And of course, DeSantis, Christie, he goes after Trump a little too hard, so I don't think he would ever stand a chance.
Yeah.
But Nikki Haley and DeSantis, oh, absolutely. They could step right in. Trump number 2.
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah. I really wonder. I was one of the people that thought DeSantis would do better. It maybe, I don't know why he's kind of fizzling out. But you're right, Nikki Haley. I mean, she is a full-blown white supremacist. I mean, when you hear
She
her talk,
isn't.
she, and it's weird to look at this brown woman, who's parroting these white nationalist extremist talking points.
Absolutely. And now Trump is questioning her
Of course.
birthright. So, well,
Even though he appointed her and, worked with her and allegedly was very close with her at one point. Yeah, but that's what he does. He gives people nicknames and starts trying to. I mean, are you tracking the way they're going after Fani Willis in Georgia? They succeeded in doing an intellectual blood-free lynching of Claudine Gay at Harvard. Now they're going after Fani Willis. It's a formula. Innuendo. Willis didn't sit at a hearing and tank, but still innuendo, and then just false, just unsupported allegations. I won't say false. I wasn't in the bedroom with them, but it's unsupported. You have no evidence. You just start a smear campaign. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going after her. It's, trying to launch a criminal investigation while they waste taxpayers' money looking into, Fani Willis and Hunter Biden. And
right. Well, the Hunter Biden situation drives me crazy because I just want to ask him, I'm sorry, when did Hunter get on the ballot? Is Hunter running for president? Did I miss something?
Yeah, right.
He is not running.
Yeah. What's his official role? Why do we care? I always say it. Every family has one, a drunk, a drug addict, a ne'er-do-well. Every family, maybe yours doesn't, but most families, mine, may have more than one.
Oh,
just saying.
We have flawed human beings in my family.
Right. And, all human beings are flawed, right? But,
absolutely.
But to your point, yeah. So why are we spending up all this money, really trying to get to the president through his grown, addiction challenged son?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to mention quickly, I have to disagree with Brother Tony Muhammad on one thing he suggested.
Okay.
No. We are not going to take the Compton Airport and turn it into a drag race for those who want to tear up the road. They just need to get their adrenaline going by drifting, doing a Tokyo drift or whatever the case may be. Why is it that when it comes to the city of Compton, they are so quick to say, all the crime is happening in Compton? Well, do you think that everybody who's coming and doing these street takeovers live in Compton? Are you kidding me?
That's a great point. Of course they don't, yeah.
They come from all over the place, and they come to Compton, I feel like, because they know they can get away with it.
Deb, let me ask you something. Since you're from Compton, and this drag racing, I don't know if it's an issue across the country, but it certainly is an issue not just in Compton but all over L.A., Southern California. Would you have a problem? I don't suspect a lot of people would want the Compton Airport taken over, but would you have a problem with them having a spot somewhere? Whatever, somewhere, an abandoned army base or some place where they could go and just do that racing and get it off the streets, have some stands and live it up?
I would love for them to do that, but don't take my taxpayers' dollars out of Compton to do that. How about over there in Carson on the side of the 405 freeway where they have all that land? If you want to pitch in and put it over there by the freeway.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds good. It sounds perfect. I've probably driven by it, but sometimes I don't be paying attention. But yeah, because I do think that, and there's Randy from Watts and others have suggested that, and I do think it's a good idea. Let's find a place where these folks can race and party and do whatever they're doing and get it off the streets and sidewalks where people are trying to walk their dogs and live their lives. But
Yeah.
but not Compton Airport. I hear you.
And it's right in the middle of residential homes. So why would you even want to consider doing that?
Well, also, I did tell Minister Muhammad that, I personally know the group Fly Compton is training young Black and Latina people to be pilots there, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want the airport to be taken over for racing purposes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They do a lot of good things at that airport. They really do for the youth.
Good to know.
No.
Well, thank you for speaking up on behalf of the people that live there, Deb, and I always appreciate your perspective.
All right. Thank you, Dominique. Have a great day.
And you as well, Deb. Call me at 800-920-1580. You can too. Let's talk about it. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. So, what are you doing this Friday morning? How about you come join the KBLA delegation as we make a historic announcement and unveil our climate justice campaign for 2024. We'll be assembled for this major press conference along with LA Mayor Karen Bass, Ben Jealous, Executive Director of the Sierra Club, and a host of other public and private leaders who are joining us on this journey to justice, climate justice. We can't think of a better way to kick off the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, linking social justice and climate justice. So, come join us this Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. at the beautiful MLK Memorial Tree Grove at the top of Kenneth Hahn Park off La Cienega. Once again, that's this Friday morning, January 12th at 10:30 a.m. as we take on the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are all witnessing in real time. KBLA delegation, we hope to see you this Friday morning at KBLA Talk 1580. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today, because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
KBLA Talk 1580. Just laughing. I shouldn't be laughing, but it's the laugh to keep from crying thing. Deb and I were talking about Hunter Biden. He made a surprise appearance in Congress yesterday and then walked out about half an hour later as Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking. But, it was already a hot mess in there anyway. One Republican from South Carolina, this is what I was laughing about, said that Biden should immediately be sent to jail and said he's the epitome of white privilege. Now these Republicans want to talk about what the epitome of white privilege is, especially coming on the heels of Marjorie Taylor Greene, acting out because, here's somebody that can barely form a sentence and she's an actual Congresswoman. You want to talk about white privilege? I'm just saying, and saying things I probably can't say on the radio in the halls of Congress. What is actually going on right now? They're going to decide whether to hold Hunter in contempt of Congress. Probably, the House will vote on it, and then it will be up to the Department of Justice whether they want to bring charges against Hunter Biden for failing to honor their subpoena, because he's insisting he will only testify before Congress publicly. And yes, we're spending taxpayer money on that. Let's go to Willie from Palmdale. Good morning, Willie.
Good morning, Dominique. Happy New Year's to you.
Same to you.
Thank you. I just want to ask you: is there something about the universities that a group is going after them to sign statements for support of Israel against Hamas?
I don't know what you're referring to, but I know that many academic institutions have, required that their, professors and administrators either sign letters of support or make statements of support for Israel, and specifically condemn Hamas. And it's an interesting thing because there are so many conflicts going on in the world. There are so many political issues going on in the world. And although we know these do affect campus relationships, because you have a lot of Muslim and Palestinian students, and even those who aren't Muslim and Palestinian, who are identifying with the cause of Free Palestine. And then there's quite a few Jewish Americans who are students and teachers, just as there are Muslims who are teachers and administrators. And so it's interesting that this has become a litmus test of sorts in a way that we don't necessarily expect our academics to weigh in on every war, on every conflict, on every political issue. So, I don't know that there's one centralized, maybe I missed that story, but I know it's happening individually on a number of campuses.
What is happening at Antelope Valley Community College? They wanted Superintendent and President Jennifer Zelak to sign a petition, Israel against Hamas, and I wonder if they're going to hit up Southwest College.
That is interesting that it's coming down now to the community college level. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that case, but it doesn't surprise me because, and look,
I think it's a group called Universities United. Okay.
Sounds about right. I'm not familiar with it. I will look into it. I know that this is a trend, right? And here's the thing, condemning violence, Hamas killing Israelis, anyone killing Jews, anyone killing anyone, but especially, civilians, innocent civilians and babies, like what's happening with the IDF is doing in Gaza. There's nothing wrong with making those statements. But to me, where the problem comes in is when your employer is pressuring you to take a particular political position or else you lose your job. That, to me, seems like a violation of our free speech rights, of our rights to free thought and political choice in this country. You don't have to love my positions, but, imagine... I know that can happen in any workplace, but it's especially egregious in the academic setting because free thought and discourse is the job of colleges and universities.
The First Amendment.
Yeah, not just the First Amendment, but what is teaching? Teaching is supposed to be about exposing people to different opportunities, different options. And so, if you are being asked or required to sign a pledge to a particular political point of view in order to work at an institution, what does that do to the real freedom of speech there and the real freedom of thought and ideas, the real, open and honest exchange of philosophies?
Yeah. That's what they call it, a free thinker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently the days of free thinking in our universities are, possibly leaving us. I feel like part of what was so chilling about what happened with Claudine Gay at Harvard is the fact that she was removed from that position by a public pressure campaign and used as an example. I feel that it's an example. Same with the UPenn president. I mean, this is an example of if you don't strictly adhere to what is considered correct by these wealthy donors, then you will be out. And what message does that send to others in the academic space?
It's like the domino effect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worrisome. And now that's why I point out what is ramping up around DA Fani Willis, who's going after Trump in Georgia. They're creating a smear campaign. Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to launch an investigation. They're creating a playbook for removing these powerful black women from office. Time for news, traffic, and sports. Then we'll keep talking because that's what we do on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Former President Donald Trump won't likely be speaking during closing arguments of his civil fraud trial today in New York City. Trump made the request last minute, but the judge overseeing the case set strict limits on what Trump could say. Specifically, no campaign speech, no talking about irrelevant matters, no attempts to introduce last-minute evidence, and no disparagement of the court and staff. The Pentagon has confirmed that Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was admitted to the ICU with complications from a treatment for prostate cancer. Austin was apparently diagnosed with prostate cancer in December and underwent a minimally invasive procedure to treat it. Days later, he was admitted to Walter Reed on January 1st with complications from the procedure. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers got 29 points each from Paul George and Kawhi Leonard last night to hold off Toronto. George scored 15 of his points in the fourth quarter. The Clippers are 11 games over 500 and are 14-3 since December 1st. Earlier Wednesday, the Clippers signed Kawhi to a 3-year extension worth $153 million. The deal will pay Kawhi an average salary of $51 million. The Lakers are at home tonight against Phoenix, 7 p.m. tip-off on TNT. USC's men's basketball team lost at home last night to Washington State. The Trojans lost by 8. USC freshman Bronny James was scoreless in 15 minutes off the bench. LeBron's son was 0 for 3 from the floor and finished with 1 assist and a turnover. Seattle became the 5th NFL team looking for a new head coach. Pete Carroll was fired Wednesday. The former USC head coach had been with Seattle for 14 years. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
What's up? I'm Danelle Riley, FAMU alumni and creator of the HBCU Culture Shop. I am so proud of my new partnership with Black Beyond Measure and Target. They help me elevate community pride with my HBCU designs and continue to support Black creators and entrepreneurs with Target HBCU challenges, scholarship programs, and campus collaborations. Let's come together this homecoming season and beyond. Shop my brand and discover other Black-owned products at target.com/BlackBeyondMeasure.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the exclusive media sponsor of This Light of Ours, activist photographers of the Civil Rights Movement. A dynamic new exhibition on view now at the Skirball Cultural Center in Los Angeles. This Light of Ours showcases more than 150 photos taken by movement insiders from diverse backgrounds that reveal the vital work undertaken by a broad coalition of organizers and everyday people whose collective action changed America. This Light of Ours is one of 3 temporary exhibitions currently on view at the Skirball, which together explore issues related to civil rights, immigration, and pluralism. Tickets and more information for all 3 exhibitions are available at skirball.org. That's skirball.org. SKIRBALL.org.
Okay, I have to admit, 2024 really snuck up on me. Luckily, Kohl's has everything my family needs to start the new year out right. With the 15% off going on, I got my husband and I Flex Styles under $30 and Tech Gear Activewear under $20. I also found a NutriBullet juicer for just $79.99. To top it all off, I earned Kohl's Cash too. So, it's not too late to make a resolution, right? Offers end January 15th. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency. On low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Deb and Willie call me at 800-920-1580, and you can too. Molly Bell co-signing in the chat on Deb. She says, right on, Debbie, after they tear up the stores and loot. I live across from the Woody Lewis Airport. Thanks, Debbie. Usually they do studies, have town hall meetings, and present proposals. It's so true when you talk about what's going on in the city of Compton and how we can come up with a solution that's not simply just lock them up and throw away the key kind of solution, what to do about this street racing phenomenon, which has become very, very popular, common all over the place here in Southern California. Going to Howard from Watts. What's up, Howard?
Hey, how you doing? Thank you.
What's on your mind this morning?
Oh, you don't talk to me like that, Dominique. You don't have no couch time in a long time. But anyway, I just want to chime in on the lowrider and racing thing. The problem is these people have a way, area to really express themselves. I remember back in the day, they had turned that part of down there in the harbor terminal annex, Terminal Island?
Terminal Island, yeah.
Into like a drag strip, and then somebody took it over and put all those containers there. And I think one city or some kind of ordinance came through last week where they won't allow cruising. I think that's good, because one thing I say about lowriders, they not run up and down the street causing a lot of havoc. You don't want to mess with their cars. You scratch with your cars, you might get shot. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of pride in those cars and a lot of actual dollars invested in making them look the way they do. It's a great point. And that's the same thing Randy from Watts said, Howard, is that why don't we give Terminal Island back to racing or find another spot that would make sense so that we can, if we're going to crack down on it happening in unauthorized areas, we can have an authorized place for people to express themselves and go do that, whatever that thing is that they're doing.
And that, and, you know, when they have those kind of ordinances, that gives the police to harass people. You know,
Yeah.
they harass lowriders for different things. Another beef I got down here in Ted Watkins Park. They close it off on the weekends. They close the parking lot off. I think someone, you know, I think that's terrible. And the guys, the lowriders there. So what? You know, they're not causing a problem. They just sit there and park their cars and do their thing. You know, everywhere the lowriders go, the sheriff, the LAPD, they run them off. They run them off. They can have a spot too. You know, it's like nothing like having to get your car together and ride cruising on Sunday. That's what they do in LA. This is a LA cultural thing. You know, they're messing with the culture. And
Okay, but I mean, probably you need, like you said, one spot for lowriders and one spot for the racing, right? Because those are not necessarily compatible.
No, that would be. You're right. That would be the ideal move. But I'm going to say this. I hope some politicians and big-time people are losing. When you guys get up to the position, we have to use common sense, brains. Gosh. You have to have a degree to make a decision. All these decisions they have, all you need is mother winning common sense. That's all you need. You have no degree in some kind of social studies or whatever to make a common sense decision. And that's what this lowrider and racing thing is all about, is a necessary space. And I'm glad I think the Whittier City, they can cruise them down Whittier Boulevard now, which is beautiful, you know. But they got to do something about it. They chase the lowriders away. There's on the Boulevard years ago, chase them over there, and they went to the parking lot over there, Food for Less over there in the Slauson. I can understand they chased them from over there. But when you're around those people, they're not a lot of hassle or havoc. Another complaint I got, Dominique, real quick. You got all these car chases going around here, and people swing up and down the streets and everything. I would suggest, now this is why I said this is common sense, they always have these car chases on TV. You know,
right.
I'm messing with our programming, but what they should do is have like an Amber Alert and put it on the radio, so if you're driving around, you know what to expect. You know, you look up, you got this man speeding 100 miles behind you, and all these police chasing it. That's scary to death.
Yeah.
You know, they should put in some kind of emergency thing with the radio station, like yours would be a good one. All the radio stations chime in and say, a car chases a blah blah over here, so you know what to look out for. That would be a common sense solution.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing, Dom.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, one more thing. I was going to pay tribute to your father and my father. I have a poem I was going to read. I was going to play a song for my father for you and on my clarinet when I missed the call. And I read your father's book, Blues People, when I was in the service. Very, very informative book about black people. I think it stops around mid-60s or something like that.
Well, yeah, it's about the early roots of black, American music, really. And it's one of, I think, like 100 books, about 100 books that he wrote in his lifetime.
Oh, really wrote that many? But I had to pick up one, and it was a very interesting book. Made me really appreciate music and why people are always stealing our music, because we're very innovative. And I think, what's that guy's name? Roy Woody made a Smith on how we came off from Africa. We had really vibrant music and stuff. Like you listen to Sukus now, it's very vibrant. And we get here, we come up with the blues. So you know.
Yeah, but we're still vibrant though. Don't hate on the vibrancy, Howard. We're still vibrant. But you jumped all over the place. But I think, as far as the racing and the low riding, we should try. We should at least try and see. Let's see what happens if there's a place where folks can go and do that, where they're not going to be harassed and arrested and necessarily in danger. Let's try it. Let's see if it helps. I bet it would.
It would.
Yeah, and maybe it won't solve everything, but it's back to finding ways other than jailing our way out of every problem, which never really works anyway. And I am concerned because I hear more and more of that talk. It's like the old school throwback Republican talking points from when they passed the 3 strikes and when they used to call us super predators. That's, of course, I know, also famously Democrat, but to me, Clinton was like a little like a little Joe Manchin-y in that sense. But in any case, the point is, I see a return to that, and particularly in Los Angeles, where in where you see in California, I should say, where you see this big emphasis on the retail crime, and that being used as an excuse to go back to the old broken windows, lock them up. You see Steve Cooley holding meetings with residents, some community residents, encouraging more police, encouraging the California Highway Patrol to come into communities where they're supposed to stay on those freeways and do their Marlene Pinnock dance inside the cities. I don't believe that stops street racing. I don't believe it stops retail theft. And I do know that we all want to be safe. No one wants their community stores smashed or even their Gucci stores smashed. But the data doesn't match the video. The video, yes, it's happening. Is it as rampant as they're portraying it? No. Even the Retailers Association, the National Retailers Association, I don't remember the exact name of the organization, but they had to pull back and correct themselves because they were trying to blame all of their losses on retail crime. Turns out it's just not true. Actually, quite a bit of their losses are coming from people that work in those stores and inside of those corporations, stealing, shoplifting, shrinking inventory. So I know people don't relate to that. They relate to the pictures they see on the news versus the reality of how often something is happening. But let's look at, even if it is rampant, let's look at creative ways. Go up the food chain. Arrest the people that are reselling that stuff at a profit. And on the ground, let's deal with alternative strategies. That's what we signed up for, Care First. Instead, we see this reaction, a backlash, which is going back to the law and order, lock 'em up Republican. And the extreme version of that is Donald Trump and his new shoot on sight dictatorship plan. And, he ain't shooting everybody on sight. That's why you're not hearing more alarm from other communities. The shoot on sight rhetoric is designed for you and me, Howard, and our Latina neighbors.
No, they're not going to shoot Jeffrey, So. But another thing, I remember back in the day, the lot over there where L.A. City Schools and the RTD are parking their buses, that was a racetrack back in the day, Ascot Racetrack. It was and they had it. They were showing these races on Channel 5 every Sunday. My great-grandfather used to love to watch those races, but they over the area they took away that they would go out there and race their jalopies on Sunday.
Well, no, you're right, Howard. The racing and low riding, the car culture that, they glamorize when they put it in old movies about, white folks doing it, is very much a part of Southern California culture, and Northern California culture too. I mean, in the Bay, the lowriders and racing and all that, it is part of the culture. If it's gotten out of hand, if it's become a menace due to being able to organize on social media, due to whatever's going on with people in their lives, and due to the fact that there's no legit outlet for it, then we need to think creatively in overcoming the criminal element and the nuisance element that's impacting the community, as Molly Bell so eloquently put it. You want to weigh in like Howard did? 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA, Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
There's only a few days left for open enrollment, starting at $0 a month. LA Care Covered offers the benefits you need to achieve your health goals. $0 preventive services, 24/7 virtual care and nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, free fitness and nutrition classes, and more. Become a member of LA's most affordable health plan. Get a free instant quote at lacarecovered.org. Have open enrollment questions? Connect with us today at 855-222-4239. Find your affordable path to wellness with LA Care Covered today.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Venus for Pubic Hair and Skin is here with the only razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area, featuring a razor with the patented irritation defense bar and skincare regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Visit GilletteVenus.com to learn more about our full regimen of products.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket, just like our customer Jaron.
I'm the singer and guitarist in a band, and I use my Cricket phone for everything. It's basically like another band member.
Don't miss a single beat. Switch today and get a free Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Real customer paid for testimonial. Must bring your number to Cricket on up to a $60 a month voice plan depending on device. Select models only while supplies last. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See store for details.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more straight talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station,
and your favorite morning show host.
Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, still welcoming you in 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I do want to remind you that on tomorrow at Kenneth Hahn Park, atop of the hill, at the Martin Luther King Jr. Monument there, we will be having a press conference at 10:30 a.m. We, being KBLA Talk 1580, and a number of civic organizations, the mayor of Los Angeles will be there to unveil an important initiative that we are launching around the climate emergency. Hope that you can join us there. I'll be there. Tavis, Smiley, and many of your other KBLA Talk Radio hosts and many civic leaders. What we are planning to do, an unprecedented campaign. We will unveil the details tomorrow. So I hope you will be there for that. You know, I'm always talking about climate justice and how important it is on a local, national, and global level. We all share the same air. You can't partition off the atmosphere. I know Elon Musk is talking about going to Mars and colonizing Mars so the very wealthy can have an extra planet. I'm Team Planet Earth. I want to stay here, and I was going to say save the planet, but it's really save the humans, because I think the planet will be all right, right? Over the millions of years and, that the planet has in the big picture to bounce back from whatever we're doing. The question is, will plants, animals, and human beings be able to sustain life? And for that, I'm Team Earth. I don't want to go live on colonized Mars, where Elon Musk controls whether or not I have the ability to get back to planet Earth and visit my relatives, where I could be a new kind of interplanetary slave or indentured servant who really has no way to escape. At least enslaved, Africans and indigenous people could escape, right, into the woods or run to Mexico or Canada or something. And many died. Many died in the attempts, but some made it out. You're not running away if you're on Mars, because without that equipment that your tech overlords control, you will die immediately. That's crazy. No, let's save ourselves and stop abusing our planet. So I'm really excited that the radio station has taken that up. Also want to invite you today at 3 p.m. at 5th and Adams. We're gathering to honor Reverend James Lawson, who is the pastor of Holmen United Methodist Church. I'll be playing the interview and sharing my thoughts on it as we go along. And hopefully you'll share yours as well on YouTube. That'll be next hour. But you're invited to come and walk. It's a very short, windy day walk. And we will be unveiling Reverend Lawson Way. Some of your top lawmakers from representing Southern California will be there. They will be screening the movie Rustin for free and lots of things. So that's today. Tomorrow we're going to be at Kenneth Hahn Park. And, of course, the SCLC is unveiling their Reverend Lawson Award at their gala on Sunday. Monday is the parade. King season is in full swing. The Kingdom Day Parade in Los Angeles starting at 10 a.m. and starting on Western and King, winding down in Leimert Park for the festival, which goes on for most of the day there with vendors and lots of fun things to do. So the celebration of the life and legacy, the work, the philosophies of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is in full swing. I've just said a few of the many, many, many things that are going on that you can participate in, many of them free. In addition to that, go to the SCLC website if you want to learn about the Interfaith Breakfast, if you want to learn about other initiatives that are going on there, sclc-sc.org, or go to KBLA 1580. We're co-sponsors of that festival in Leimert Park, so we'll be hanging out there as well. A lot going on. This is a moment to celebrate victories, even as we fight the beastly things that are going on in our nation's capital and globally. It's a perfect day to stand for peace. It is a day of service. So what can we all do to pitch in? What can we do to leave the world a little better than we found it over this coming weekend? I think Pastor Q of the Church Without Walls, the Row, just gave us a few suggestions. We've been hearing from men and women of faith in helping us set our tone, set our intention for the year ahead. So that is all part of this process of this season of service in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave four, like a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in the combo. Single item at regular price.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
It's weird because there's a debate going on about whether when the former president, Donald Trump, said he was going to be a dictator on day one, whether that means he was joking. That's A. B, he just meant he wanted to be a dictator for one day. That's B. C, he was saying he'll start being a dictator on day one and never stop. Or 3, well, it couldn't be all of the above because, I guess he could be joking and serious. It's him. But I believe that he's already a dictator. I don't think he's a dictator on day one. I think he's a dictator right now. And one of the reasons that I say that is because the way he sort of commands his minions or his followers. Today, Nassau County authorities had to go respond to a bomb threat at the home of the judge who's presiding over the fraud trial, the civil fraud trial of the former president right now. There's an investigation going on right now at the house of Judge Arthur Engeron, who's supposed to be hearing Trump's case today. And that, to me, those are the signs of authoritarianism, of a dictatorship. You know, I think of the threatening of poll workers and how this is becoming normal for our country, something that we would think of happening in a banana republic, in a dictatorship. You know, Latasha Brown of Black Voters Matter was talking about that this week, how white nationalists are using these dog whistles to send out their minions or their followers to commit violence against poll workers. We're seeing the rise of hate crimes in Black and brown communities, anti-Semitic crimes, anti-LGBTQ hate crimes, but Black people, as usual, leading the pack in who's getting attacked. Kamala Harris met with more than a dozen community leaders, including Latasha Brown, in Atlanta this week to talk about that. How do we protect poll workers and voting rights? How do we adhere to these laws that have been passed by Republicans trying to stop people from voting and restrict access to voting, and the misinformation coming out through AI? All of this, particularly the violence, the threats against judges, the swatting at Judge Chutkan's house, now a bomb threat at Engoron's house, the threatening of poll workers. You're a dictator now. You don't have to wait for day one. You're already acting in the manner of a lawless, authoritarian fascist. Imagine if he actually gets back in the White House. Looking forward to the conversation with Reverend James Lawson after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Former President Donald Trump won't likely be speaking during closing arguments of his civil fraud trial today in New York City. Trump made the request last minute, but the judge overseeing the case set strict limits on what Trump could say. Specifically, was admitted to Walter Reed on January 1st with complications from the procedure. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore.